Contrary to everyone's belief, the House Republicans were able to get their crap together and elect Mike Johnson on the first round.
You were correct. Speaker Johnson did win on the first ballot. Barely.
But it doesn't matter. A win's a win, a W's a W.
But only after Trump got his greasy little burger fingers in there.
There is universal agreement tonight that Mike Johnson is Speaker because of former President Donald Trump.
So much for checks and balances. And it doesn't look like Trump's pick is going over too well in MAGA land.
And get on with it. Give me 100 executive orders and get on with it.
We're going to go over some of those hilarious responses, but first make sure to like the video and hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Trump came in hot early Friday morning with an early endorsement of Mike Johnson, and already MAGA was pissed. Trump tweeted at his usual 7 a.m. You know, I completely forgot about the early morning Twitter tirades. It's going to be a very interesting 4 years. But he started off with, "Good luck today for Speaker Mike Johnson, a fine man of great ability who is very close to having 100% support. So, keeping in Trump fashion, he started out with a lie. Mike Johnson isn't a fine man, has no great ability, and didn't have close to 100% support.
Never going to just agree to raise the debt ceiling $5 trillion without spending cuts. And that's not an affront to the president. It's just a reality of those of us who recognize we've got to constrain spending. So we want to be able to work with the president. What the speaker did that week was set up a division that didn't need to occur. We didn't need to have that vote that Thursday night where we ended up with more Democrats voting for it and 38 Republicans voting no. That should never have happened.
In fact, seeing as this is the slimmest majority in the House in maybe 100 years, he is very far from 100% support. And his own supporters were starting to revolt on him. Don't worry, President Trump, the Democrats have promised to vote 100% for Mike. They love the weakness of Mike. They love that they get 99% of everything they want and need to destroy your presidency. As much as I would love that dearly, it is unfortunately not true. But it's good that they think that. I completely disagree with you on this one, Mr. President. He is not MAGA and has continued to pass everything the Democratic Party has told him to pass. He's no better than Kevin McCarthy. I realize that confirmation is at the top of the list with no issues, but MAGA supporters believe this guy absolutely does not have the best interests of Republicans at the front of his decisions. Well, unfortunately, Nikki, mom of two, did not get it the way she wanted.
It looks like they are about to change their vote so that Johnson actually will win on the first ballot in this space where the space-time continuum is upset.
And there's Speaker Johnson and Dusty Johnson of South Dakota, who is a key negotiator here for the Speaker. There are two pieces of news here. First, we'll see that Mike Johnson is elected Speaker of the House in short order here. And the second piece of news will be what transpired.
Yeah, what did they get?
Well, I can tell you what they got. They got a little conversation with Trump on the golf course.
Phone calls with former President Donald Trump. Two of those members switched their vote, and Johnson was able to become Speaker on the first vote.
So tell us more about why they changed their minds. Was it just those calls, as you mentioned, from President-elect Donald Trump? And what does this mean for what comes ahead?
You know, there's almost never universal agreement about anything at the Capitol, but there is universal agreement tonight that Mike Johnson is Speaker because of former President Donald Trump. And you could see even on the House floor, he's someone's endorsement earlier this week was pinging around, but it was not enough to get a dozen members over the finish line for Johnson. Instead, we saw a member, Marjorie Taylor Greene, on the phone, on the chamber floor, trying to help negotiate and spread word, get the Trump message out. And indeed, the members who talked to Trump said that it was in conversations with him, those two members who changed, that they decided to reverse course.
We had a lively conversation, and I was very honest with the president, which I think everyone ought to be, that I thought that we needed a stronger negotiating position. I think we need a very strong Republican conference, and I wanted some changes.
That's right. All Trump had to do was blow a little hot air, and this house of scared little piggies folded immediately.
What did Trump say to you? He said that Mike Johnson's the most likable person.
He said, look, I'm in the middle of a golf game. That was the first time I talked to him. And then he said, Mr. President, I hate to. He said, well, you did vote for Nikki Haley. I said, yes, sir, I did. We're with you now. And I said, we will be with Mike Johnson.
What happened to not voting for him unless you pulled his fingernails?
Would that be enough to get your vote for Mike Johnson?
Oh, no. You can pull all my fingernails out. You can shove bamboo up in them. You can start cutting off my fingers. I am not voting for Mike Johnson tomorrow. And you can take that to the bank.
Remember, ultimately, maybe some of my colleagues here today will want to revise and extend their remarks about the relative influence of Donald Trump. He is the head of the Republican Party. He wanted Johnson. Johnson's going to get it on the first ballot after a little bit of conversation on the House floor.
It seems like the House Republicans forgot that there was supposed to be a system of checks and balances. You're not actually supposed to just do whatever the president says, and the American people are reflecting that. Take a look at what happened after Trump truth socialed his congratulations to Mike Johnson. Trump truths out his congratulations up here, and the responses are, "Keep a close eye on him, President Trump. He let millions of our taxpayer dollars go to Ukraine and whatever else the Democrats wanted. Enough already. He better do the right thing going forward. He must be arrested for his past actions. His future must be behind bars." You saying he'll be a great speaker doesn't miraculously make his traitorous behavior go away. Sorry, sir. Judas Johnson is a POS that needs to be shackled, perp-walked, and tried for high crimes and treason, not celebrated. These people are bloodthirsty. And I say let them fight. I mean, generally I'm for a functional government, but dysfunction in this case is exactly what we need, because it looks like the House Republicans are just going to lay down and let themselves get steamrolled by the president in whatever crazy dictatorship fantasy he wants to live in.
Over the past week or so, Trump has proclaimed that the U.S. should reclaim ownership of the Panama Canal, acquire Greenland, and annex Canada as the 51st state.
17 more days until inauguration, and 1,495 days until we're all done with Trump once and for all. And to help you get through it, we'll be right here for every twist and turn. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American. I'll catch you next time.